I'm absolutely terrible at a little game called Planet Coaster 2, but it just dropped an amazing summer update, and so today you're going to be watching me, who's barely touched the game, try and build an entrance, and spoiler alert, I think it turns out pretty damn good. Hello lads and ladesses and welcome back to another video. At long last, I'm finally hopping on Planet Coaster 2. Like I said in my sort of teaser promotional trailer thingamabob I did a week ago, I bought the game on release day about 8 months ago and never really got around to playing it because of just like how many bugs being reported. People playing it and Frontier were constantly panicking and putting out updates. So the game felt a little bit rushed. Racked up 32 hours though in 8 months, which isn't awful in the grand scheme of things, but it certainly isn't enough to be trying to make my own park with. But here we are anyway. I am going to be starting this series. I'm not sure how long it's going to be, and I am sure the next episode will be a lot better, because this one, as you can hear, I'm recording on a slightly worse mic than usual, if that's even possible. And my voice is a little bit scratchy. You might be able to hear it. It might break throughout today because I was at Thorpe Park yesterday, which was amazing, but I rode Hyperion for the first time. And anyone who rode it will tell you the next day your voice is just completely gone. But I'm trying my best, I'm powering through, and this video is going to come out a little late. Once again, I'm sorry for that. It took a lot longer to make than I realised. What you're seeing in this video, I think this video shouldn't be more than 20-30 minutes. It might be, I'm sorry about that. It's about 5 hours of work, probably a little less, maybe a little more, because I was completely clueless. And so basically I played my first 32 hours on my PS5 controller, right? But then I plugged in a keyboard and mouse, so you can see my little mouse going around the screen. Plugged in a mouse, and because people always play on it, and I did agree it was a lot easier, but I was just sort of trying to relearn all the mechanics I'd learned on the controller, all the little buttons, the cheats, and sometimes I had to plug my controller back in to use some things like turning the camera. I didn't really know how to do that. I know that now. You press down on the the scrolly thingy. But yeah, enough yapping. Here I am. As you can see, I was trying to make an entrance in which you'd have a bus take you somewhere, but then I thought, that wouldn't really work the best, so I went all the way back after all the work I'd just done to rebuild the buses, which I would later discover were the wrong buses and had to fix, but it was all worth it in the end. I think it looks pretty good as it is right now, and hopefully you'll think it looks good. You can see the painstakingly long building process. Right now it's just sort of choosing the main colour scheme of the entrance, which I went with and still stuck with to this day. I think a sort of black and dark green, because I thought that looked really nice. You can see here I decided in this park, which I'd never done before. I'd never built an entrance for a park before, and let alone I've never used the grid path thing before. That was cool, really helpful. And I was trying to really work with my sight lines here, so you can see me putting down trees and editing terrain. I wanted you to walk into the park and think, you can't see any of the roller coasters, you don't know what you're in for, and you walk through the main entrance, which you can probably see I'd envisaged to build where the path sort of ends. And I just really wanted to hide the coasters behind, and I feel like throughout this series there's going to be a lot of tweaking this, because as you can see it's a pretty poor attempt at trying to hide what's behind it, but I was a bit rushed for time, and also, well, not rushed for time, but I wanted to sort of get on to building the main thing, and I realised there'll be a lot of tweaking how this looked as I actually built the roller coasters, because as you can probably tell, I had not built anything and just sort of deleted everything at the start of the video. Tried my road idea, didn't work, so I went back to basics, and here you can see I was starting to build the entrance. And now originally the concept art I'd mocked up with, but also mucked up, I guess, with ChatGPT. It was sort of a ruined castle entrance, and I did try to do that idea, but as you will see, as time progressed, I realised I really did not have the skill level quite yet to make it ruined, so I just ended up building a castle, which I thought was alright. It wasn't, a really generic castle. It was a nice little one. Didn't use, this whole series I'm only using custom made things, which I've never ever done before in a park. Even my roller coasters have the pre-made loops, and my first roller coaster, I can confirm, is underway. You'll see it in the next episode. It's interesting to say the very least, because I was trying to make custom loops, and inversions is a fancy word I probably have to use in this game. And to this day I'd been using just the generic pre-built loops, which are fun, but the ride sort of lacked personality and felt a bit repetitive over time. So yes, everything is custom built in the series. I will eventually be putting this onto the Frontier Workshop, although I sort of want this to be my warm-up park, you know, where I sort of get a feel for the game, know how you play it. Right now I'm only on 42 hours, so that's what? That was 5 hours building this entrance, and then I think another 5-ish. Sorry, my math is not very good, I'm a little tired, if you couldn't hear that already through my voice. Yeah, it's about 10 hours of experience so far, and that's mainly been theming up the park. Building coasters is sort of quick, I'll be honest, but theming is where I absolutely suck. I had Planet Coaster 1. That was a great game. I got it on PS Plus, and of course they removed it from PS Plus, which is a bit sad, which is why I did buy Planet Coaster 2. I absolutely loved this game. What drove me to get Planet Coaster 1 was mainly it's free, gotta love a good free game, but also I was completely addicted to the Roblox game Theme Park Tycoon 2. I'm not sure if any of you had heard of it, but there are some great creators out there, like I think it's Benny's Movie Parks. He does Theme Park Tycoon 2 stuff, and you know, he went to Planet Coaster 2, he loved it, and so that's sort of what I was planning to do. Hopefully someday I had this great idea that I'd go back to my Theme Park Tycoon 2 parks and try to recreate them in Planet Coaster 2, which I thought would be really fun. I even wanted to stop this series and go do that one as a warm-up, but I thought my skill wouldn't quite be where you wanted it to be, because even though Theme Park Tycoon's very, very basic, I did a lot of scenery in my parks, which, as you can probably tell by looking at this, I was not very good at or comfortable with. I think there'll be a lot of going back towards the end of this series and retweaking the scenery, especially around the entrance, but as of right now, I'm happy with how it turned out. This being my first park entrance I ever built, and pretty much the first time I've touched scenery in this game. What I like to do is just build some crazy roller coasters, do that. But yeah, I was really trying to make some eye candy entrance, some Disneyland sort of vibes. I don't know what I was going with. I found filters like when watching Dan's series. By the way, shout out to Digital Dan. He was my absolute inspiration for this series. He's an amazing creator. He's probably never going to watch this, but he was the person who drove me to really get back into this. Oh, voice crack number 1. He was the person who really drove me to get back into this game. I was watching him on holiday once, and yeah, he had an amazing series. It was 34 parts. I only really found out about it when I was on holiday about a week or two ago, which is where I made that video. I was just sort of recording it walking outside. Everyone thought I was a bit mental, but I thought I really want to sort of commit to it, because it's very easy to watch a video, say I'm going to do that. You get home, you just don't really have the steam. Like having to learn a whole new game, and it's so much work as well. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, but while doing this I was feeling so happy. Like the payoff was amazing. It did get a little bit tiring. Oh my god, voice crack number 2. I need to start a count now. It did get a little bit tiring towards the end of the 5 hours, so the ending was a little bit rushed. I'd like to say I did take my good time with everything. Like you can see, I move everything around a lot, and I'm not scared to just sort of delete everything I've already put lots of work into and completely restart if I don't like the look of it, which may be what I end up doing later in the series. The entrance will probably need a bit more work, especially the sight lines and connecting it to the different themes of the surrounding areas. And talking about the different themes, that's a perfect segue into my next bit of the app, what the themes are actually going to be. Now, I need your help with this down in the comments. I've started my newest roller coaster, I've been theming it, but I'm always open to new ideas. I'm thinking my first area is gonna be sort of a jungle vibes, maybe a bit of castles thingy, I don't know. It's not really an official area, sorry, not really official theming thing in the game, but I thought, you know, it would look nice. It's a good, easy way to start. Like, it's not too little effort that I really look back at the coaster and think, okay, this is a bit of a shock. I've clearly not put any effort into this, but it's also not too much where I look back at it and think that I was way over my head trying this. So yeah, I will be looking out for, what's it called? Oh, it's completely escaped my head now. Theming ideas, you know, what different areas you want to see in the park, because I have no idea. I haven't really mapped out this park. Like I said, I made the mock-up with ChatGPT, and you know, that looks alright, but as you can see, I'm going to be deviating from that quite a bit. I would like the massive lake in my park. If you did watch Dan's series and not my sort of introduction to this one, it only got about 300 views, so not many people would have. I'm not sure how many views this is going to get, but this is sort of a passion project, something hopefully that will start with not many people watching it, but as my skill evolves, if you can even call it skill right now, so will the quality of my videos, the building, and hopefully more people will want to watch it then. So yeah, this week, I'd assume the rough timeline of this series will be about 1 or 2 months. I'm on some holidays right now, so I have way too much free time. But hopefully I will have this park roughly done within 2 months, as probably completely off on the estimate, but you know, it's it'll be worth it. This is, like I've said so many times, just me trying to get used to the games. And if you have any tips, you see me playing the game weirdly here, please let me know down in the comments. There's so many things to learn about this game. I'm not going to be able to do them all by myself. I've managed to learn a little bit now. Like, it's painful looking back at some of my controls movement. I'm really slow. I've learned to group things, blah 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 blah, move the camera. But yeah, I think slowly but surely, especially in this episode, you'll see I'm getting to grips with the controls all right. Not really the actual building part. I didn't really have the patience for it towards the end, but I think I was doing alright here. I was just sort of remapping everything, giving myself 2 options to look at. Here you'll see back to building the castle. I put 2 textures down and I was seeing what looked better. There was that marble, and then I put stone down because I thought marble's a little bit random, and I think I later did end up deleting that marble at the bottom. The one at the top's still there to this day, I'm pretty sure. That could use some addressing. But yeah, I didn't think the marble looked too bad, but it did sort of subtract from the theme, especially because we had the stone sort of, I don't even know what to call them, crumble cake things along the walls. And if we had that, I thought there's no point having like 2 different things. The clash would be crazy. And you can see here placing the windows. I'd had enough of the advanced move, you know. I just sort of wanted to really get into laying the foundations, and once I came back, and I did come back and sort of straighten them up, but I thought, you know what, it doesn't look too bad. Oh, so there's a little bit of a time skip here, I forgot to film. I put down the name here. You guys please do name it. I've just named it Awesome Name for now, and it looks like I've done a lot. I really haven't. I've added the windows, like I said, and I just went on to the nature and added some wall climbers, some hangers, you know, all that, all the lovely things you need. And here I was actually adding some stalls for my guests, which I dismally was trying to theme up. And I went for something really simple that I think worked really quite nicely. I just sort of stuck this piece on it, and I later did add a sort of roof thing so you couldn't see the logo on the top, but I did like that. I sort of neglect to think about my guests usually. They have some roller coasters, and that's about all they have in my park. They can't drink, they can't go to the toilet, so I thought, even if I do forget it later, they do have this massive thing at the start where they can just get whatever they want. And I was building along here, you know, placing castle pieces, trying to theme up to the best of my ability, and sort of thinking what would work symmetrically, what would work for the guests, trying to keep a good scenery score. I'd completely forgotten about my stuff at this point. I did remember it later, that I thought, shoot, one of these should probably be a staff building, or I was thinking maybe I should have a secret entrance to an underground staff thing, but I thought, you're doing too much. That grassy bit you see slightly to the left of this stall, that was originally going to be the underground entrance, and then I thought, I really do not have that much free time. Like, that is pushing a little bit. So yeah, staff and guests are 2 people I sort of fail to include in my plans for parks usually. Hate to admit it. All I've done until now is sort of build roller coasters and very, very little theming. It's usually just a scenery brush, going absolutely ham on that. Oh, that's voice crack number 3 or 4. I'd keep count, but I think it would just be pointless. There'd be so many voice cracks in this. Sort of delegate, whatever it's called. What's it called? Procrastinating a little bit. I went to Thorpe Park for the first time 2 weeks ago. Absolutely loved it. And then I went on holiday, but now I've got a 3-month thrill pass. So yeah, I went back again a day ago. As you can hear in my voice, it took its toll. It wasn't as bad as the first time. You know, I was completely screaming my lungs out because I was scared to death of some of those coasters. But the first time I went, didn't ride Colossus because it was closed, and didn't ride Hyperion because that was scary. But I went back, and of course I amended my errors, and I'm going again tomorrow. I really want to make the most of this pass, and I want to make the most of this time to tell you what I was just doing then, because I realised it looks a bit mental to everyone who doesn't understand. I put this, by the way, for reference, I know Dan doesn't tell you this, and there's probably good reason for it. This is all at 500 times speed, so I guess he probably would not be able to tell what I'm looking at half the time. But what I realised was, I accidentally added the scenery piece buff instead of the actual one the guests can access, and so I was sort of going back and putting the guest spawner one. That would have been a terrible mistake. I've finished the whole park and I open it and I'm like, why are none of the guests here? But yeah, I freed the original guest. I think to this day there is still that one guest stuck in my sightline thing. She was sort of walking in the general direction of that place when I was doing the terrain, and I don't know, she's lived there ever since. I do need to get her out, but I didn't really want to ruin the scenery or anything. And talking about, oh dear god, these voice cracks. Talking about scenery, I think I was doing a pretty good job of this. You know, it's a lot of basic pieces. Like, looking back at it, you can see just how basic it is, and here I was painting my paths, because that really means a lot in a dark room like this. I didn't have any windows, just a bunch of cool candles, which I thought, you know, worked alright. It's a bit dark, you don't want to be seeing too much around the park, hearing the noise. Talking about noise, I did end up adding speakers, which I think added quite a lot to the experience of walking through there. And of course we will be walking through, if not later in this video, then in a very near future video, if that sentence makes sense. And here I'm building tables for a restaurant. I did use a restaurant once on Drop. It was about 3 weeks ago in that new park I said I made. When I say new park, you can barely call it a new park. I built 4 roller coasters and just used the scenery brush. And I was getting bored of Planet Coaster 2. I thought all my parks looked the same, and so my genius idea was get a load of this, put a massive lake in the middle, which to my great disappointment, when I watched the series I found out Dan had done it, and people, if they ever watched the series, would be like, you're just copying Dan. I am copying, even the name of this video is probably going to be the same as Digital Dan's. He's just such great inspiration for me. As my last video was titled, Please Don't Sue Me, Digital Dan, I'd love to welcome him someday once I eventually grow the channel to be big enough, which it of course is not right now. We've got about 115 subscribers, which thank you so much for, by the way. It probably doesn't sound like much to a lot of you, but it does mean the world to me to have people subscribing, because I know they like the content. I do put a lot of effort into making this, probably a bit too much effort for someone who only has about 115 subscribers and averages about 32 views and a lot less likes. But you know, to the 3 people still watching by this 17-minute mark, oh my god, that's dedication right there. Thank you, it means a lot to me that you've actually taken the time to watch this video. I do take about 5 hours in the editing process to make this video, and of course the filming one's completely different. This one I was going absolutely ham on. I have a feeling the next few videos you're going to see, I'm not going to be spending this much time, either because I got better or because I will be taking breaks. My main beef with watching the Digital Dan series, which I have absolutely nothing against, I love it. I watched it at 2 times speed to get through it all, because I knew I could not get through a 34-part YouTube series in the about 3 days I had of doing nothing on holiday. He didn't show him doing all the theming, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be different. I'm going to show all my viewers exactly what I am doing here, you know, every step of the way, because he would sort of be building a roller coaster. He would have built it, I'm like, oh, that's a cool layout, and then he'd be like, oh, let's just cut to when I've done the scenery, and it's just this insanely themed roller coaster, and I'm like, how the hell did you manage to do that? If you guys agree with me, please let me know down in the comments. But I feel like his way is sort of smart, because I had to spend so long importing all of these videos from my PS5 to my PC to edit and into the software and out of the software. So yeah, I learned my lesson there. Dan does it for a reason. What a shock, a 100k subscriber YouTuber knows how to do YouTube better than me. But yeah, here I was showing you every last second of theming. This video is going to be so long. I promise for the actual roller coaster I'm going to be building next episode, I do not show you every single second of theming, but for this one I pretty much do. And I'm going to walk you through the sort of things I've placed on the side, because I realised I walked you through the ones I put on the right side as the camera's facing now, but not the left side. So as you can see, we've got a body dryer. I am planning to put in some shape or form a water park in the game. I was thinking This could be a really dumb idea, but I was thinking of putting the massive lake in the middle as being one of those paddle pools you can just sort of dive into. I thought that'd be really fun, but then again, saying it out loud, I do realise how dumb that sounds. It also might ruin the view, and of course, the most important part of the game I always forget about, guest safety. It's probably not safe, especially because you have to have the lifeguards looking at all times, and you're not going to be able to cover an absolutely massive central lake with lifeguard chairs. So yeah, I did want to trial it on my original Goofy park. That was my last bad attempt at making a park before this one. But I realised I have no idea how to, and please, before you click off this video, do go down in the comments and tell me how on earth do I, if I've placed water right, how do I unplace it, apart from the undo button? Because that's what Digital Dan did on one of his videos. I think he like flattened to foundation, and there's probably some sort of secret trick of the trade, I don't know, because I do only have, like I said, it would probably be about 36 or 7 hours at this point in the video on the game. But yeah, I do not know half the tricks, way more than half. You can see I can't even move the camera properly. But yeah, way more than half the tricks of the game, which hopefully I will be learning throughout the series, coming back to sort of my earlier places, and either fixing them or just sort of looking back and being like, wow, I was really bad back here. But yes, here I am placing my banners. I thought the front of the castle looked a bit bare, the actual paths looked a bit bare. I was going to put some shops, but I was like, I already have loads inside, and like I did say earlier, I placed 3 of the small staff buildings inside. I wasn't sure how many staff members there are, or how often they need to break, or if they all go on break at the same time, which I assume they didn't, unless you're in my last few parks in which they were constantly on strike, if that's even possible in the game. But yeah, I placed the banners on the front of the castle, themed them up to the dark green and black I told you I was doing earlier on the coaches. It's the sort of general, general colour scheme of this area. So now we've got the green and black banners. It sort of makes a lot more sense to have the buses be that colour. And we also got the green of the scenery around the front of the castle, the sort of blackish of the windows, and I did have that orange sign. I was thinking of changing it to green, which I think I eventually did, but at first I was like, oh, that looks nice. So we got the green of the scenery, the black of the sign. I was going to make it all black at one point, but of course you can't read it. I spent ages trying to find a font for no reason. But this is what the inside looks like so far. I think it's alright. I did quickly realise I'd gone a bit too ham on the wall climbers, and I tried to play off by putting some rope along there, making it be like, oh, these are meant to be here. But I think I need to come up with a better... I was going to delete it all and restart it, but I did like the look of it from the outside, and I think guests aren't really cranking their neck up to observe every single part of scenery on the inside, and so I just have to take the hit on this and try to play it off with some rope. I think I ended up trying to put a sign over the leaves by the entrance, which of course I didn't go with, and oh, these plant pots, these really give it a lease of life, don't they? Oh, end of first day report. Of course, my guest had an absolutely terrible time, because one of them, not sure if you can see it on the left here, is still stuck inside this rock, and to this day, while building while building up the park off camera, what brings me joy, what keeps me sane, while just sort of playing the game all by myself, no one else online, is seeing the end of day guest experience stars slowly go down and down and down as that one person gets sick of being stuck in the rocks there. But here I am. I realised I turned all the flags the wrong way, and I really want to get everything about this series right. I don't want to be lazy with it, and so the second I realised I was stopping to put as much attention to detailing as possible, I'd go away, have an hour break, a much needed mental health break to get out into the real London rain. As you can see, it's raining here. I didn't really properly thoroughly test this for all the weather, or especially amount of sunlight types. Like, I had no windows in here, which of course I will be fixing later throughout the series. All I had was torches, but I sort of like the dark theme, if that makes sense. And yeah, you can see I had to put my torch on because you can't see a thing inside without it. And there's the sign I told you about. I was trying to put a come again thing in to cover it up. Then I'd have to scale it up to make it work. And then it does sort of look good. If you think that looks good, let me know. But I did end up deleting it. I was going to have like that sign be black and that one be green, which is where I did eventually turn it into green. I left it like that for a bit, but I looked at it and I was like, I'm not sure. And also, I forgot to talk about this. We have all these benches from the restaurant, custom-made restaurant for once. The ones I played with within my original park were just sort of, what are they called? The pre-made ones. It was just the Hawaiian things. And of course, I didn't really want to build a whole other area inside this castle. And so I placed some tables with a counter and a kitchen. And I thought that worked well. I didn't really do anything on the menu. Sort of set the basic one. I might come back to that, but yeah, I put all the tables around this central piece. I thought, you know, it gave it a nice look. I was just gonna have fountains there at first, but I thought, why not have some tables around it? And instead of putting water jets up, I decided bubbles looked nice, because why not? I'm sure they loved their bubbles in medieval England. And here I was spending way too long getting the, what's it called, the sound design down, because you can see here I was turning off all the radio stations, because it subtracted from the atmosphere, I have to say. You know, just walking in, you hear like 50 different radio stations blasting you from all angles. So I put, I think, a total of 6 speakers blasting out the same song at max volume. It took me a while to realise there was a difference between song and ambience and sound effects. That's all working now, and here I am putting banners on the inside of the castle, which I think, you know, look nice. It's a good touch. I feel like the banners and especially the, what's it called? The greenery scenery, that's what I'm going to call it. It's got a nice flow to it. They really added a lot to the castle. Yeah, it wouldn't be as good without it. And the lantern. You know, I'm so proud of how all of this came together looking back at it. And looking back at it, I do see the marble in the door frame and do slightly regret not keeping the marble. But as you can see, the marble is actually still there. It's just hidden by the stone. I kind of forgot to delete it, I'll be honest. And I kind of forgot how to play the game at this point. You can tell I'm 5 hours in on the grind. I was thinking about pausing it, but then thought, you know, let's just power through this last part. I completely forgot how to line up different parts of it. So when I was trying to make the exit, I took way longer than I should have, lining up, deleting it, lining up again, deleting it. But eventually we got there. I'm not sure if I make the back bit of this castle. Yeah, you can tell I'm 5 hours in at this point. I've completely lost whatever touch I might have had, but I think the front of the castle is looking absolutely amazing. The back is, of course, looking a bit bare, and the sides. So I was at this point in time, I was between two mindsets. I was like, we could just cover it in trees, because that would be the advantage of not having any windows whatsoever on my park. On this entrance to the park. Like, no one's going to see that you're completely covered in trees, and it will also help hide the sidelines. So I might end up doing that. I think I ended up putting some greenery scenery, as we're calling it, along the side. I didn't really theme the sides too much, and saying it out loud, I think I will go and do that before the next episode. But yeah, I feel like the front looks amazing. You know, we got all the greenery scenery, we got the flags, those are amazing. The windows, which I think I straightened up, or I'm about to straighten up. The entrance name, and of course you can see I've added the fences along the sides of the path. I've added the lanterns, benches, bins, all the sort of things that the guests would need. And so looking back at it at this point in time, I was like, wow, this is really starting to come together, and I was really happy with how it was looking. Because no offense to Dan, but I didn't really understand when I looked at, he did explain it really well in his videos, but of course I was watching most of them in 2x speed. The sort of Greek entrance, in my opinion, I thought, you know, that looks nice, but if you don't theme the area, which he did, but I just don't really see a point in putting all that effort into building such a complex structure to build. I feel like the entrance to a park should be something like this castle. You know, you go in, you get your tickets, you get absolutely flooded with the option to buy merch, and you walk out and go into the actual park. And so to this day, I still haven't placed the actual official park entrance. I'm thinking of putting it on the exit, so, you know, guests can have a while to mooch in there. But then again, it is a video game, and I'm pretty sure they're all coded to just run to the entrance. So I think the entrance might have to be at the other side. And as you can see, this is the side I'm theming up right now. I was taking my time to make everything look really nice, because of course this is one of the two sides you'll actually see. Of course the other side's making much more of an impression, because no one gets out of the entrance to the park and looks back and really takes in the details and goes, that window was slightly wonky. No, you're busy running to a roller coaster or something. So I think this is sort of the general area I will be putting it's got now the entrance in. And I know Dan built a massive car park, and I was going to build it, but I didn't really understand how he did the roads and how he got the cars driving across them. I was going to look on the Frontier Workshop, but at the time of building this, it's probably completely different now. He did not have his park out on the Frontier Workshop, which I was really sad about, but probably for the best, because I'm pretty sure I would have just completely copy and pasted his park. So I'm glad. It's probably for the best. I was thrown into this completely blindly and had to 5 hours just to sort of work out what I was doing. Yeah, I have a feeling this might end up not being a weekly series. I think it'll be every other week. You know, I'll do one of these and then I'll do another random video, like a GTA video or an FC video. Because I really don't want the quality of this to drop. And right now I've still got momentum, but I have a feeling the second I'm sort of hesitant to get back on Planet Coaster 2 will be the week I'm like, okay, let's take a break from this. I want it to be the highest quality as possible as my first sort of tester park, but I also want it to be sort of, I don't want to linger on it too long. I want to be able to do this, love it, and then move on to greater things. And here's me discovering there are actual other options in the path menu for once. And right now, voicing of this video, I'm really just urging to get back in the game and fix all the massive mistakes I can see looking back now. But you know what? Right now I am really happy with how the entrance turned out, especially the outside. Like when you look at it, you get off the coach looking, that's a great entrance. The flagpoles and the little plant pots added so much. Frontier did an amazing job with adding literally every little piece you could possibly need in this game. And while it is a pain to sort of filter through 5,000 pieces every time you log on or every time you want to build something, in the end it is good. And here I complete numpty. I forgot I don't build past there, so I had to undo all of that, and I sort of went copy and paste towards the end here, but not because I was lazy, because I wanted it to be symmetrical, you know, I wanted it to look nice and blah 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 blah. And oh my god, it's 31 minutes. Respect to whoever's watching this right now, and the fact I've sat down here and just voiced it over, saying pretty much nothing, just straight yapping for 30 minutes is crazy. I'm really getting the urge to get back into the game and continue what I was doing, because looking back I'm really proud of how this was turning out. And yeah, would you look at that, I'm sort of doing my finishing touches now. This is where I'm realising I've done something completely wrong. I'm gonna have to rebuild the whole thing, but then I realised no, it's just I do need another path there. And there you go, that looks slightly wonky looking back on it now, and it's slightly bizarre how we got you know, the fact, what's it called, the greenery scenery is poking through. It doesn't even bother me that much anymore, because no one's really going to be looking up. What bothers me is like, why did I put bubbles in an intense medieval themed area? Or like, why is everything slightly wonky? I did fix the wonkiness here though, like the fact that banners are inside of it right now. I did go back and I think try to amend that. But yeah, this was, I must admit, while I'm theming off camera my first roller coaster, I did not give it half the attention to detail this got, and I'll be honest, I'm not sure any other place in the park. If I build an indoor coaster, of course that's going to get a lot of attention, but yeah, this was sort of, I realised this is where the highest footfall of guests would be. This is where every single guest has to go in the park. None of them have to go any other place, but this is the entrance, the exit, their first impression, your guys' first impression of the series. And so I thought, I've got to give this my absolute all, and of course I'm going to be keeping up with the same quality of building, but I'd be doing it on a smaller scale, or I'd be using like a trick while copy and paste everything, or do half of it and then hide the other half behind something else, so I don't actually have to do all of that. But yeah, I was extremely ambitious going into this, and I definitely regretted it a lot of points throughout this 5 hours, and even at 500 times speed I look like I'm working really slow. Like this especially, this looks like I'm working in real time. Maybe I am. Did I forget to speed this up? No, I can't have done. I don't work this efficiently. I'll be honest, I was extremely slow while actually building this park. If you couldn't tell already. But yes, here I am. I'm putting the finishing touches at long last onto awesome name is what we're calling the park right now. You can see in the bottom left, I've called this series YouTube series. I'm waiting to rename it to one of your recommendations. Right now I've got X Park by X Syndicate channel. a shout out to them, I guess. Which, I like the name, but we want more people to sort of watch the series for it to gain traction, for there to be a general consensus of the best name for the park. And I want there to actually be a couple roller coasters or a couple lands in at the very least before we name the park. Dan was on like episodes 20 by the time he named it Isle of Discovery, and so I'm not too fussed about leaving the naming for later. And here we are in real time, and I must say I'm extremely proud of how this looks. Like the flags, the everything. Comment down below if you have a name idea, how you think it looks, and I'll see you probably in 2 weeks. This took way longer than it should have.